Unluckily, the Zaporizhzhia region is officially one of the most contaminated with explosive devices, with mines and etc.
The Russians have been relentless in their efforts to destroy us. Therefore, the number of damaged buildings increases by an average of 6% every month.
However, despite the constant aggression of the Russian Federation, the region not only continues to live, but also actively struggles with the consequences of enemy attacks. Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center, an NGO Euro-Atlantic course, and I'm your host, Myroslava Yaremkiv. The occupied Ukrainian cities and villages are gradually being restored thanks to the help of the Ukrainian government and foreign donors within the framework of state initiatives and international programs. These are Kyiv, Kharkiv, Zaporizhzhia, Mykolaiv, Chernihiv, Dnipropetrovsk and Kherson regions. However, there are still dozens of Ukrainian cities and villages that are still under Russian occupation. In order for recovery to be quick and effective, it is necessary to plan a large-scale reconstruction of Ukraine and prepare relevant projects today without waiting for the end of the war. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how it works now, and we'll talk with representatives from different regional military administrations to gather first-hand information about the regional situations. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. The Ukrainian government adopted a resolution that defines the procedure and conditions for providing state aid to Ukrainians whose homes have been damaged by hostilities. It will be possible to receive it with the electronic service e-recovery in the DIA application. Owners of damaged property will be able to receive financial support for purchasing building materials and paying for repair work. More on how this project works in the Zaporizhzhia region, please welcome head of the Zaporizhzhia Regional Council, Olena Zhuk.
Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Russian troops in the Zaporizhzhia region, 4 kindergartens, 8 schools and 2 educational institutions were completely destroyed by Russians. For example, in Orikhiv, Gymnasium number 1 Suzhiria, which was one of the top 100 of Ukrainian schools, was completely destroyed. Healthcare facilities of the Zaporizhzhia region are also under Russian fire. Actually, on November 23, 2022, a maternity house in Vilnyansk was bombed by Russians. 2 doctors injured and half of the maternity house was destroyed. On July 2023, a psychoneurological healthcare institution was also attacked by Russians and almost fully destroyed. More than 10,000 of houses of our people on Ukraine-controlled territory of the Zaporizhzhia region is damaged or fully destroyed by Russian troops. Luckily, Ukrainian government started a new state program which is called e-restoration, and now we have more than 1,060 applicants for people. This program allows for people to apply and to get the help to restore the houses and the homes. Last year, 34 projects were selected for restoration in critical infrastructure of the Zaporizhzhia region. 1 of them is already completed, 2 are halfway completed, and the rest gets necessary documentation. Unluckily, the Zaporizhzhia region is officially one of the most contaminated with explosive devices, with mines and etc. About 600,000 hectares is contaminated now. Different experts say that about 24,000 of square kilometers should be cleaned after the deoccupation of the Zaporizhzhia region. Different agencies, organizations, international missions are now contributing to the help of the Zaporizhzhia region. We are very, very grateful to the bottom of our hearts for this help. Really, all the people in the Zaporizhzhia region are involved in this help, and thank you a lot.
More than 35,000 Ukrainian families whose property was damaged received payments of 3.2 billion hryvnias from the state. Most of them are from Kharkiv, Kyiv, and Mykolaiv region. Under the second component of the program, destroyed property, more than 8,000 applications were registered. More than 2,000 housing certificates worth almost 3.7 billion hryvnias have been generated. This means that their owners will soon purchase their housing. Kherson region remains occupied and has been severely damaged by Russian occupiers daily. To get insights directly from the ground, let's hear from Alexander Tolokonnikov, representative of the Kherson Regional Military Administration, about the current situation.
The Kherson region is under fire from the Russian occupiers around the clock. Terrorists purposefully hit the civilian, social, and critical infrastructure of the region. On average, 500 shells hit our settlements every day. The occupiers are firing with everything they've got: artillery, mortars, tanks, drones, and aviation. Therefore, the amount of destruction is enormous. Now we are talking about more than 23,000 objects. These are houses, hospitals, schools, kindergartens, administrative buildings, and other facilities that have nothing to do with the war. The Russians have been relentless in their efforts to destroy us. Therefore, the number of damaged buildings increases by an average of 6% every month. However, despite everything, we are working on recovery. Currently, about 1/10 of the objects damaged by the enemy and the enemy fire have been rebuilt. These are around 2,600 buildings. For example, as part of the presidential side-by-side project, we have managed to repair almost 1,000 houses with the help of volunteers from more than 800. By own efforts, 500 objects, the rest from the state and local budgets. Owners of damaged housing receive compensation under the e-recovery program. 208 million hryvnias have already been paid to 1,500 victims. Compensation is provided for those whose homes have been completely destroyed. 75 certificates for more than 83 million hryvnias have already been issued. And at state expense, we are restoring 9 social facilities, 1 critical infrastructure facility, and are building a modular town for IDPs. In addition, we are designing 36 social facilities for further restoration. The Russian army also mercilessly destroys critical infrastructure facilities. The energy sector alone suffered losses of 800 million hryvnias. When the occupiers were knocked out of the right bank of the Kherson region, they almost completely destroyed the energy infrastructure, trying to leave the residents of the region without any electricity. At the time of deoccupation, there were only 30 settlements out of 228 with electricity supply, whereas now 188 out of 228 are connected to the grid. Our power engineers did the impossible. They restored the power grids virtually from scratch. As a result, the Russian aggression, the gas supply system, suffered damage amounting to 47 million hryvnias. However, the services are working to ensure that residents of the Kherson region have blue fuel in their homes. Currently, gas supply has been resumed in 79 out of 88 settlements which were connected to gas grids before the full-scale invasion. Centralized water supply has been resumed in 175 settlements. Drinking and technical water supply has been organized in others. As a result of Russian armed aggression in the region, 17 bridges were destroyed and 1,400 kilometers of roads were damaged. Currently, passage to populated areas has been ensured on all destroyed crossings. Besides, more than 530 kilometers of roads have been repaired.
Following the Russian blow-up of the Kakhovka Dam, the Dnipropetrovsk region faced immediate humanitarian, economic, and ecological challenges. The region has since been resiliently working to overcome these issues and restore normalcy for its residents. To understand the current situation and atmosphere in the region, let's turn to Victoria Shykhmahomedova, representative of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration. The Dnipropetrovsk region is a frontline area which since 2014 has been a medical and humanitarian hub of Ukraine. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, the enemy has been constantly attacking it, terrorizing the civilian population. According to the data of the Ministry of Reintegration, 6 communities have been identified in the Dnipropetrovsk region on the territory of which hostilities were or are taking place. About 5,000 owners lost their property, almost 300 people were killed, and thousands more were injured. Russian aggression destroys educational institutions, medical facilities, and civilian homes. As a result of the blow-up of the Kakhovka HPP dam, the coastline was shortened by 1 kilometer, which in turn caused significant damage to the ecosystem of the region and water supply in 2 districts, Kryvorysky and Nikopolsky. More than 850 kilograms of biological resources died. 3,000 hectares of agricultural land suffer negative consequences. 200,000 people were left without water supply. However, despite the constant aggression of the Russian Federation, the region not only continues to live, but also actively struggles with the consequences of enemy attacks. In order to quickly overcome the consequences of the blow-up of the Kakhovka HPP, water delivery to the affected communities of the Dnipropetrovsk region was organized. And on the 3rd day after the tragedy, the construction of a new water main from alternative reservoirs was started. Already on August 21, 2023, the first thread of the new main water pipeline was launched. Specialists have been working around the clock to complete this project. Besides, during 2023, our power engineers eliminated the consequences of the so-called blackouts under constant fire and restored stable electricity supply to people. Specialists of the State Emergency Service deactivated more than 7,000 munitions and cleared 3,000 hectares of land, which in turn allowed farmers to continue working in their fields without hindrance. I also want to emphasize that despite the destruction of its territory, the Dnipropetrovsk region is helping other affected regions of our country. As part of the All-Ukrainian Side-by-Side program, our region helps in the reconstruction of 3 settlements of the Kherson region. In May 2023, the e-recovery state program was launched for people whose homes were damaged as a result of the aggression of the Russian Federation. This service allows Ukrainians with damaged housing to apply for financial assistance to repair their houses. This assistance will be provided in non-cash form and will be transferred to a bank account. The funds can be used within 1 year from the date of their receipt and exclusively for the purchase of building materials or for the payments of works. Currently, more than 1,700 applications have been received from residents of the region. Most of them have already received funds. The total amount of payments was 50 million hryvnias. So-called housing certificates will be issued for owners of destroyed property. By receiving them, people will be able to purchase houses or apartments. The region also actively cooperates with international partners. In April 2023, the President of the Czech Republic, Petr Pavel, paid an official visit to Dnipro. During his visit, the President of the Czech Republic said that his country is taking the Dnipropetrovsk region under its protectorate in post-war reconstruction and will help in its reconstruction. Thanks to the constant work of the regional military administration with international organizations, the Dnipropetrovsk region receives modern medical equipment, generators, water pipes, and machinery. Despite the constant attacks of the enemy, the region is alive. We are holding on, we are accepting IDPs, we are sustaining the economy, and have become a reliable rear for our defenders. You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center, an Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share the video. Slava Ukraini!